but it just struck me that he's pitched really well, but those two areas are not going the right way.
Yeah, I think there's points to be made there, and maybe that the opposition has a little bit of a book on him to the point that hey, we're not going to get beat on his fastball. But regardless of the strikeout rate, he's a guy that you should still be very impressed by of the numbers he's put up since.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember those early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season, except for this year, they've gone to the playoffs. Go ahead, grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on the X machine and the Instagram machine at Locked On Rays.
This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Guess what? If you use promo code LOCKEDONMLB, all lowercase, promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you get to win $50 instantly when you play $5 at PrizePicks.
Well, getting to some of the action on the field this week. Luckily, the Rays beat the Cleveland Guardians on the road by a score of 5-2. Brandon Lau getting his 18th homer of the season, which is now team leading, which tells you the dire straits that the Rays are in. The fact that we are in essentially mid-September and our team leader in dingers is at 18 and a guy who's played 90 games, basically. So I
already thought he had crossed 3 digits. It's still to double digits on games played for him.
I think he's at 93 right now.
Oh no. Yeah.
Last year he played 109 because I looked it up. Because last year he had 21. So that's really one of the few things we're rooting for at this point. Maybe Brandon Lau can surpass last season's total of 21 homers, but that kind of shows you where we're at. But it wasn't just Brandon Lau. It was the bullpen that picked up Ryan Pepio and a surprising dud that he laid for a couple innings. And something maybe the Rays should implement more when there's runners in scoring position, something they weren't able to do in the Phillies series and essentially all season, is sacrifice flies. Bringing them in some way, somehow, by hook, by crook. I don't care how you do it. Just get that runner in from third. Jonathan Aranda did it. Logan Driscoll did it. And Johnny DeLuca also had an RBI of his own as well. But the key theme here is one win every 4 days, one win every 5 days is not going to cut it.
No, it's not. And I think they're playing how they're playing when they're the worst in 2024. I believe they actually hadn't been 4 games below 500 since June 22nd. Yeah. It had been a minute since they were that under 500. Again, we've hammered it on, and we're going to hammer it on, I think, consistently because it's so obvious. It's the offense, man. There's no, yeah, I mean, could you have gotten a little bit better response from the bullpen earlier in the year? Yeah, you could do that. The rotation, could they have performed just a little bit better? Yeah, they could have, but it's the offense, man. And there's no two ways about it. Like that's the issue. And you mentioned 18 home runs. We've mentioned how anemic this offense is. In 2022, it was Isaac Paredes and Randy Rosarena who had 20 home runs each to lead the team. Mm-hmm. So even that offense had 2 guys at 20 at the end of the season. Like, will we have 2 guys that are like that? I don't know.
I guess between Brandon Lau and Jose Siri, sure, maybe, but it doesn't really make me feel any better.
No, it doesn't make me feel any better because now we're comparing ourselves to an offense that was not fun to watch, and this one is less fun.
Yeah. I want one guy with 30 plus homers and a couple guys with 20 plus homers. That's a good starting point. And maybe next year, Junior Caminero can be that guy with 30 homers, and finding somebody from the outside or a healthy Brandon Lau can help uplift that dinger mark. I think, and we still have a mailbag question to get to, and not to, I mean, I guess to foreshadow a little bit, but they need another intimidator in that lineup. At least somebody who strikes the fear in the opposition to give opportunities for other guys. And players just have to step up and capitalize. I mean, when you have a runner at third with fewer than 2 outs, some way to get him in. I don't need a homer. I don't need a double or a triple. I don't need it to look pretty, but you got to find a way to do it. Hey, ground ball, a slow roller to first to get that man in. I'll take it.
Is it approach? Is it what is being taught? Is it raining down from the front office? Is it the players themselves? Like, what happened to get the man in no matter what? Like, get the man in. GTMI. That was a thing for so long, of a mantra for the Rays starting in 2008. Get the man in. GTMI.
Maybe even laying down bunts. I think it's a combination of everything. I think need better players. Those players either can't handle the pressure or get taken advantage of. And yeah, maybe there is some semblance of sell out for power. That's all we care about. And the power's not showing right now.
No, it's not showing. Moving on, because I know that we have an offensive kind of question for the second segment. Yes. So Baz in Philly, I just want to highlight him a little bit because I don't think we have talked about him enough. 3 runs or fewer in 10 of his 11 outings, and out of those 11 outings, 8 of them he has pitched 5 or more innings. The ones that he didn't, those 3, 2 of them were against New York in back-to-back starts. I feel like his numbers are pretty impressive for a guy that's coming back from major arm surgery. So again, 11 games, he's already crossed a 60-inning mark. He has a 3.28 ERA, a 4.27 FIP. I understand that the strikeout rate is down. The walk rate is up. So I wanted to see, like, what is happening there, because when he came up, and I kind of didn't take the 2022 numbers in full stride, because now we know that he was pitching hurt in 2022. Like, the guy was about to break or was broken already with Tommy John. So in 2021, when he came up, he had a 39% strikeout rate on the 4-seam. This year, it's down to 16.4.
Okay.
So I looked at the difference in miles per hour. It's only 1 mile per hour, which is a lot in Major League baseball terms. Like a mile an hour is a lot. But even so, I wouldn't think that it could go down from almost 40% to 16.4%. Like, what's going on there? I don't know if it's, again, a guy getting back from injury and he doesn't have the same, like, quote unquote giddy up on the fastball, but it just struck me that he's pitched really well, but those 2 areas are not going the right way.
Yeah, I think there's points to be made there, and maybe that the opposition has a little bit of a book on him to the point that we're not going to get beat on his fastball. But regardless of the strikeout rate, he's a guy that you should still be very impressed by, of the numbers he's put up since coming back from injury, just like Jeffrey Springs before he got hurt again. And I would like to see, especially if we view Shane Baz as, hey, can he be our number 2 going forward? And whatever happens with Shane McClanahan, who's going to be the ace then? Is it going to be Shane Baz? Is it going to be Pepio? Is it going to be somebody else? But
you've probably heard of Tonal, because it's the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. It's powered by AI, which means that Tonal learns what every rep that you do so that it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. Okay, this is basically what the race front office has for every player. Like, all right, this is the swing path. This is what you're looking for. Well, Tonal can do that for your muscles, man. That's awesome. It learns your movements. It provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. And you know what? It's really nice to have an AI companion always with you while you're getting your sweat on, because it's like having a personal trainer at home, which is pretty nice. And it's for everybody, from professional athletes to the mom of three. Tonal is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest. So right now, Tonal is offering listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. So that's Tonal, TONAL.com. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. Again, TONAL, Tonal.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off today.
In order, I don't know, I guess it's kind of weird, but what I like from a guy who's an ace or a strong number two is you have more strikeouts than innings pitched. And I don't believe Shane Baz displays that thus far. I think he has 50 strikeouts in 60 innings. But
Exactly.
You still can't argue with his overall numbers and the poise, the composure, the confidence he has. He belongs. He's been one of the bright spots in his return to the club. And while the fastball might be a little iffy as far as the strikeout rate, his off-speed offerings have been magical, especially the curveball. The curveball, I would like to see the numbers on that compared to previous iterations, because he is really, really fooling guys with that. He'll start it at somebody's eye level or shoulder level, and then it drops to the bottom of the zone. He gets so many guys to swing above and over the top of it, and you can just see after he gets a strikeout on a curveball how dejected the hitter is, whether it's a lefty or righty.
Yeah, the curveball has been pretty sick. From again, the usage of it is around 19%, and it's nasty, man. I mean, they're hitting only 185 against it. They're slugging 241. It's a put away pitch at 23%. Like it's nasty, that curveball. And I'm with you. I feel like Shane Baz is a top of the rotation kind of guy. And then we talked about with Pepio, even though he did not give maybe his best performance against the Guardians. His whole season, we can see the talent of him being a possible 2 or 3. And then you just mentioned Shane McClanahan, and you just mentioned Jeffrey Springs. Like, again, we go back to this. Well, the pitching should be fine. The pitching is great. We know how to build bullpens in Tampa Bay.
Yes.
It's the offense. So I think we should get to talk about the offense a little bit.
I think we should. And that leads to a mailbag question that we did not have a chance to get to on Thursday's program. And that question is from Rachel, who has been very good to us as far as sending us questions and comments. And it is this. As we begin to close out the next couple of weeks of the regular season, the Rays offense has become very complacent, not enough hitting at all, and failure to get more runs scored with runners in scoring position. With the offseason on the way, what do you think is the biggest thing the Rays should do if they want to get themselves back into being playoff contenders in 2025? Will there also be a possibility that we will see Aranda and Mead get playing time going into next season, since Mead has been up and down lately and haven't seen Aranda in the majors in a while up until now?
Nice to see. Well, first of all, thank you, Rachel, for writing to us. Dude, I think this is going to sound elementary, but it's because it's true. Dude, you gotta get some bleeping power. You have
bats. You need a thumper or 2 or 3 in the lineup, and you need to shore up the middle.
We talked about the Mariners offense, I believe, when we played the series and we went over their numbers, and we're like, oh man, they're having a tough time. We are tied with them in slugging at 369, okay? And not that far away from the Chicago White Sox, who are at last place. So the Rays are 29th, tied right now. in slugging. They just don't have that pop. We just talked about it. Brandon Lau leading the team in home runs with 18. So what can you do to improve this offense? Get some pop. Get some pop. And that is going to come at a detriment with your defense. And you have to, this offseason, in that non-smoke filled room at Tropicana Field, at one Tropicana Field drive, Neander and company are going to have some nice yogurts and fresh fruits and good coffee. And they're going to talk about how much defense are we willing to part with in order to gain some offense? Now, aesthetically pleasing, of course, defense is nice. Emotionally speaking, mental health speaking, as a fan, scoring more than 3 runs, it's pretty nice. Like, you have a good chance to be a happy camper when you go to bed that night. How much are they willing to give up? And from years past, when they've gone full auto on offense, 2016, it didn't go well.
Right.
But I'm a fan that is willing, after watching this offense, I'm willing to see some errors on the field, and that would be putting an Aranda there at second if he's going to hit.
And Aranda has shown, I know we've been critical of Aranda in his spots with the Rays. The last handful of games, he is showing some potential. He is showing some staying power. Can he keep it up? That's a question mark.
Right.
I mean, I would say in a vacuum, I'm probably more bullish on Aranda's hitting ability at the major league level than Curtis Mead, as far as a little bit more pop and extra base hits and so forth. Mead, something's got to give with, just being able to hit the ball deeper throughout the ballpark. So at least we're seeing some signs from Aranda, but you can't just bank on, we're going to have a big year from Aranda and a big year from Caminero. It's going to take some outside help, I think. And some of the issue can be resolved just by health, which is a big question mark. You need a mostly healthy season from Brandon Lau. You need a mostly healthy season from Josh Lowe. And I think that will uplift the numbers. But they also have to get creative. Look, we can forget about adding Pete Alonso or Juan Soto or some of these names, but I think I think 2025 is also a situation where you gotta throw out a couple flyers, throw out a couple darts, and see what sticks. Like maybe bringing back Travis d'Arnaud for a season at age 35, 36 years old. Jurickson Profar maybe is an option. It looks like he's turned a corner this season. He doesn't strike out. He walks a lot. He doesn't swing and miss. He's showing more power this year. He's a switch hitter. And the market isn't paying him what he probably should be owed. As Klosky mentioned earlier this week, buy low on Bo Bichette. Buy low on a Paul Goldschmidt type or a Max Kepler type. I feel like that's kind of the situation that the Rays are at right now. I'd love to go out and get Willy Adames, but he's not going to hit at the drop.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of frustrating as a Rays fan? You already said you can't go after this guy. You can't go after this guy. How many other markets are like that? 10, maybe. 15. So like half of the league is in that bucket.
I'll tell you this: within the division, no other markets are like that. I think the Orioles are willing to spend. I think the Red Sox are willing to spend. The Blue Jays will spend. The Yankees obviously will spend. So you're competing within your own division for some of these guys to land these guys who want to be compensated fairly and appropriately. And
that's why it's so impressive what the Rays have done about being in a staying power situation since basically 2008. But it also makes it frustrating that, hey, if we just spent a bit more. And then, I know the Evan Klosky in me would say, hey, they had their highest payroll this year to start, and they didn't do squat with it. So money obviously doesn't equal winning, obviously, but you still need players of caliber that will perform no matter what. And this year, the guys that were supposed to perform underperformed.
Yeah. And I think, look, not to upset anybody's feelings, but At some point, they got to land. When they throw out an offer to a Marcell Ozuna, they have to close on that offer, because Marcell Ozuna, what he's done with the Blue Jays, oh my gosh, Braves. It's a Friday morning, folks. Bear with me here. Put up monster numbers, especially the last 2 seasons. And I would say the value compared to his salary, that contract of 4 years, $65 million, is absolutely golden. If you can throw 3 and 40 out at Eflin, go throw out 4 and 65 at an Ozuna, or whoever that guy that you target is that you think can be a big difference maker. And really, I mean, if Ozuna was on the market now, he'd probably be getting double that. So you got to find that guy at some point, whether it's 2025 or 2026.
I know we've talked about him in a very light way. I know on the text chain with Klosky, we have definitely Anthony Santander. I know he has the Venezuelan bump, but a guy that has proven year in and year out that he has pop. And again, we're in that talk of how much defense are you willing to scrap by to get some offense. I don't care if he's awful in right field. I mean, we put Harold Ramirez there. Yeah. So I can't buy into the whole thing. The Rays wouldn't do that. Well, they did for way less power with Harold Ramirez, like way less than what Anthony Santander did. Now, Anthony Santander is having a career year. We always talk about that. Yeah. You're going to have a year where you're going to go off. This is the year where he went off, and now he has, 41, 42 bombs? So you will, unfortunately, be paying a tax as he goes into free agency due to his career year. Good for him. Because of his defensive drawback, he might still be, quote-unquote, affordable, right? He's not a superstar. So a guy like that is proven is great. You mentioned Caminero could be a guy that hits 30 home runs, and I hope he does. But I want to give Rays fans a bit of a different perspective here. Is we all hope Junior Caminero, he's a 30-plus home run guy year in and year out. And we know he has the capability to do so. We know he has the ability to do so.
Right.
He's not proven. So I think it's kind of, I don't want to say ignorant because the word is too strong. I think it's a little bit too pie in the sky.
That's fair.
To just put 30 home runs next to Junior Caminero's name. I think that's folly. Kevin, I know you're a happy man because football is back in season. How you feeling? How are the Colts doing?
Well, they lost their first game, but I think they'll bring some punchy offense, unlike the Rays this year.
Well, I hope so for your sake, man. And you know what? When you're seeing that offense just click on all cylinders, I know you're going to have PrizePicks on your phone because it's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Okay, so you can put your members first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. I mean, that's 15 minutes is probably like 2 downs in NFL, right?
With a something commercial break. Yeah, you're on the right track. Depending on TV breaks and so forth.
So download the app today. PrizePicks. Use code LOCKEDON MLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDON MLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You get Ulises S. Grant if you just play Abe Lincoln. How about that? You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks. Run your game.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. Well, that's because it's America's #1 sports book. Well, we have something a little different for you now through September 22nd. All, and I mean all, FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need there is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. And if that's not enough, be sure to check out FanDuel's Profit Boost in the app and use it for FanDuel's double your winnings for all of Sunday, September 15th, pregame moneyline bets. Profit Boost will be live starting Thursday, September 12th. View your account page now to learn more about your boost. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. No, I'm with you there, and we have to be patient with him. Everybody has to be patient with them. Anthony Santander.
Can he even drink right now, Kevin?
What's that?
Can he even drink right now?
To be determined. I don't think he can, actually. I don't think he's turned 21 yet. Somebody check us on that. But Santander, yes, he's having a career year, but he's also posted each of the last 3 seasons. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has stayed mostly healthy, and you can pocket 150 plus games from him. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he's a switch hitter as well.
Yeah.
But and as far as the defense goes, my thought on that is if the pitching shores up like we expect and believe it will, I know that we had mentioned Shane Baz, the strikeout numbers aren't really there, but I think we've got a pretty good looking bullpen that's going to miss a lot of bats. So if the pitching is strong enough to prevent a lot of balls in play, then you don't need a great defense at the end of the day. Plus, you add Anthony Santander. I don't know what the market's going to be for him, but he does seem like a guy that whatever his numbers are, he just doesn't get he's not as eye-catching as maybe some other names out there. You would also be taking him away from the Orioles.
Exactly.
So just like the Orioles took Eflin away from us in a trade, we'd be at least, taking one of their middle of the order power bats away from them. So I think everything has to be on the table and considered. And my point goes back to it. Okay, give Santander a Marcell Ozuna-esque contract. I don't know, 3 years, $50 million, 4 years, $60 million. He does wonders in that first year. You trade him and you get some value back from that.
Exactly.
So
if it doesn't work, you can still play out the second year. Oh, it doesn't work, then you're gonna have to eat the money. And I know that it's like, oh, the Rays can't eat money, but then we just resign ourselves to never having any nice things. Yeah. That's what we're gonna be. Nah, I feel like you got to take a swing, like you said, and hopefully you connect, because it's been whiffs with Ozuna, with Freeman, with Judge, with Judge. It's so funny to say that.
I know.
Yeah, so you just gotta get one. It's kind of like when we play baseball trivia or Name That War. You gotta get one of them right. Come on,
I know. Yeah, and we're gonna play that in just a moment. I would also add this. I mean, I'm asking a lot of things here, but it just seems like this year the clubhouse hasn't been where it should be. So whoever you add or whichever players you add, make sure they mix in well with the others and get along with each other, because I also think that's a consideration and a factor. I mean, I don't know if that player exists, but Anthony Santander type performance and Willy Adames type personality. That's what we need to help things there. All right. Fun question from Rachel. Thanks for bringing that to us. Again, if you have a mailbag question, comment, concern, hot take, email it to lockedonrays@gmail.com. We also like those voice memos, so keep those coming too. Moving on. It is a fun Friday episode, and we have baseball trivia. Name That War. Ulysses, I have trivia for you, and my question is this. The Rays, as we know, are playing the Cleveland Guardians, and in front of me, I have a list of the career home run leaders for the Guardians/Indians. 1 through 10. I want 5 of the top 10 team career leaders.
Jim Thome.
Number 1 on this list with 337.
Manny Ramirez.
Number 4 on this list with 236.
Travis Hafner.
Number 10 on this list with 200.
Nice. All right. Took 3 good hacks, couple, line drives, solid contact. I need 2 more. Currently, there are 0 Guardians with power. However, there's a guy who is always should be getting MVP consideration, and he's played with them since at least 2019. But does he have 200 home runs? If he has averaged 25 years for 5, nah, I don't think Jose Ramirez gets there. I don't think he gets to 200. No way. So let's not do that. And I'm thinking the 90s when they were really good. Carlos Baerga, who could be there. Alomar. Roberto Alomar, maybe. He would have more than Hafner, though? 200? That's rough. You gotta play quite a bit to get to 200 home runs. And
That's the idea.
Yeah, and you have to have some pop. Like, let's go with Alomar.
Strike one.
Damn.
I assume you meant Roberto and not
Yeah.
Sandy. Okay. Yeah, strike one.
All right. And then famous Cleveland Indians. I'm sorry, but that was their name in the whole 20th century. Honestly, from the old time, I just think of Bob Feller. And obviously, he's a pitcher. Did he have enough time? Albert Bell, did he have enough time with the Indians? I don't think he did. I think he basically had 5 years in each team. But I think he did have like a 40 homer season. Let's have fun. Friday, very early in the morning. Albert Bell.
He is number 3 on this list with 242.
Let's go, baby.
I need one more guess.
Let's go. Okay.
And a hint, you'd be able to get 2 more. These other guys, you don't know who they are. They're not in your mind frame.
So 2 more because they're famous, or 2 more because I saw them play?
2 more because you saw them play. I don't know who these other guys are on the list. I'll just say that. Outside of these 2.
Okay. So am I missing a Cleveland legend? Perhaps a guy that by catching position, I think I'm missing a catcher, a famous catcher by the Guardians, but I'm not pinpointing him right now. You know what? Let's just go with Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez is number 2 on the list with 250. Very good. So the list is Ramirez, by the way, has played with the Indians/Guardians since 2013. His age 20 season.
He came up early.
Yes. Now it was kind of a spot start here in their 15 games, but he really got rolling in, I guess, 2016, 2017. But yes, he has been around for a minute. A lot of power in that 5'8", 5'9" frame. This year's got 34 homers. But the list is Tomei, Ramirez, Bell, Manny. Number 5, Earl Averell. Never heard of him. 6, Carlos Santana. At 216, tied with Hal Trotsky. 8, Larry Doby. 9, Andre Thornton, and 10, Travis Hafner.
Larry Doby, yeah. I know that name. Never saw him play.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Good job.
Thank you. That felt good. And you know what? I'm going with a Cleveland Indians Guardian slash, well, he wasn't a Guardian. He was an Indian. Legend.
Okay.
For Name That War, which is when we take a player from the past and we try to guess their baseball war according to Baseball Reference, their career war according to Baseball Reference, using only our Baseball Archive mind. And today, the player from the past is Casey Kochman.
Ooh, Casey Kochman, former Ray as well. I
career
think,
war.
Yeah, Casey Kochman played at least a decade in the league. I remember probably won a couple Gold Gloves, I would say. I'm going to say he played like 12 years in the league. Hard pressed to see if he hit more than like 100, 110, 120 home runs. I mean, I think for his career, probably hit 270, if I recall. Never really struck out all that much. Slugging percentage was probably like 390, 400. I'm going to say his career WAR might be barely double digits. I will say 11.
Kesey Kochman, a batting slash line of 260, 326, 385. Very good. That's a 711 OPS, an OPS plus of 93. He did not even reach 100 home runs, Kevin. He left him at 71, and yet he would still be a pretty good player in this Rays lineup with that 711 OPS. His career WAR in 10 years in the league, 7.5.
Ooh. So I was in the neighborhood.
Neighborhood. Yeah, your neighborhood. Yeah.
St. Petersburg native as well. Man, he retired at 30 years old. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Hope you all enjoyed and played along and checked out this week's slate of episodes. We'll have more fun next week. Maybe the Rays will get a couple W's by Monday. To be determined on that. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you Monday.